In the summer of 2019, I was diagnosed with an eating disorder. I've never spoken about it online before, but I've decided to talk about it today. If you're new to my channel, then welcome to The Performing Arts and Me. I'm a second year musical theatre student currently studying at London Studio Centre, and on this channel I normally make videos about drama school, dance, musical theatre, the performing arts and things like that. But today's video is going to be a little bit different because today I'm going to be talking about the eating disorder diagnosis that I received in 2019 and talking about how it affected me and where I am today, and I am also going to be talking about how dance has interacted with this. Firstly though, the most important thing for me is that this video isn't harmful to anyone. I don't want to hide the struggle of having an eating disorder, but I also think that discussing details of some of the symptoms, etc. could potentially be harmful for some viewers. So I'm going to try not to talk too much about medical details, but if at any time you find this video distressing or you think it might be harmful for you, then please do click away. I won't be offended at all. All that being said, let's talk about the eating disorder diagnosis that I received. So as I mentioned, I was diagnosed in 2019. The specific diagnosis that I received was for anorexia nervosa. Although I wasn't diagnosed until 2019, and it was the summer after year 11 for me, I think I started struggling with my eating sometime during year 8, and I think it took me until around the summer to actually tell my parents about that. I did this by letting my mum read my diary, and that was easier for me because it meant that she could discover the problem and then come and talk to me about it rather than me having to start the conversation with her. It took me until year 11 of school to go and seek professional help, and I went to the GP who then referred me to an eating disorder service. The eating disorder service then had me in for an assessment, which was actually on my GCSE results day. After I'd had my assessment, we then waited for the results of the assessment, and I think I got my diagnosis maybe a week or so after the assessment, and then shortly after that, I can't remember exactly, but not very long after, maybe a couple of weeks or so, I started treatment. So the treatment that I had was family-based therapy, and I was an outpatient. So I wasn't hospitalised. I went to an eating disorders clinic for sessions with my therapist. I don't think that FBT is the only option for treatment for anorexia nervosa, but it's what I had, so I just thought I'd check that. My therapy sessions started weekly. They were in person, and my therapist was brilliant. I owe so much to my therapist and also to my parents who helped support me. However, my therapist then left to go and take on another role in the health service. So I got a new therapist, but I didn't find that what she said was as useful for me. But by that time I had already improved so much, and my parents and I already had so much more of an understanding of what the treatment was about, that it didn't really matter. So I could take things that were useful and kind of ignore things that I thought were less helpful, because I'd already had such a strong foundation laid by my first therapist. So it was fine. My therapy continued until the summer. So basically for the whole of year 12 I was in therapy. But as we all know, there was the coronavirus pandemic and the lockdowns in 2020. So my appointments became telephone appointments, and also at some point they became fortnightly rather than bi-weekly, because I'd made enough progress that they felt that they didn't need to see me weekly and they could just see me fortnightly. But I don't know whether that was before or after we went to telephone appointments. I can't really remember. I was also sent some worksheets to do with body image as well at some point, and actually I just remembered they gave us some worksheets and things to do at the beginning as well. So yeah, that was that. And then I went back in for at least one face-to-face appointment before I was discharged. Eating disorders are a mental health condition, although they can have a physical impact. And when I was discharged, I feel like I was physically stable, but I don't feel like I was mentally recovered. After being discharged, I did have some dips, but I don't think I ever fully relapsed. In terms of where I am now, physically, I'd say I've been stable for a good couple of years now. I make sure I have adequate fuel. I can even be around people who are not eating properly or who are talking in an unhealthy way about food or about body without it affecting me, which is something that I couldn't do when I had just finished therapy. However, am I fully recovered? I think that I would have to say mentally, no. I am so much better than I was before. The thoughts that used to take up so much of my time and energy are such a tiny fraction of what they were before, and there are so many positive impacts to being as recovered as I feel that I am now. But I do still have to put in effort to keep myself on the right path. I still have unhealthy thoughts from time to time to do with food and body image, and I think that food is something I'm more aware of and more controlling around than I would like to be. And this is something that I'm working on. It is apparently possible to fully recover from an eating disorder, and maybe one day I'll get there, but right now I still do have to work to keep myself on the right path. And there are times when it's harder to do that and sometimes when it's easier to do that, but I know that it is worth it for me to keep going down the right path, and that is what I'm trying to do. Well, that was quite a long rundown of some of the facts of my case. I also don't want to invite any comparison to my recovery, progress, journey, timeline, any of those things, but I wanted to share my recovery journey in this video. But please don't use it as a comparison because life's different for different people. I'm now going to share some of the ways that anorexia nervosa has impacted negatively on my life, because I think that this illness is sometimes glamorized in the media, and it's not glamorous at all. Again, I don't want to go into details of like medical details, but I do want to talk about some of the social impacts that it's had. I'm then also going to talk about why I'm so glad I got treatment and why I'm glad that I've recovered to the extent that I have. And I'm also going to talk about the role that dance has played in this process. So firstly, how did anorexia nervosa negatively impact my life? The main impact that I'm still feeling now is the way it's affected my relationship with certain people. I am still picking up the pieces of some relationships that were affected by my eating disorder. Anorexia nervosa also meant that I didn't enjoy some things as much as I would have liked to have done because I didn't have the energy. So I did things, but I didn't enjoy them as much as I would have liked to have done because I didn't have the energy. And so I'd be like going on a walk with my family, but I'd be wondering how much longer it was going to be because I was just so under-energized. And I didn't recognise at the time that that's what it was, but looking back now I think that that is what it was. Anorexia nervosa also took up so much of my time. Also, there is the huge mental impact and the way I used to think about myself and the way I used to think about food, and the stresses it caused me, but I don't really want to go into all of that now. Something else that is actually something that still affects me is enjoying special occasions, because it's a change to routines. And that can mean that it's harder for me to enjoy special occasions, and that's something that affected me then but still kind of affects me now. I think it also had an impact on my dance training, but I'll talk about that in a second. Okay, now on to the more positive stuff, why I'm glad that I've recovered to the extent that I have and why I think that getting help is worth it. Firstly, I have energy. I didn't realise how much energy I was lacking until I got it back again, because I'd just been used to being in this under-energised state. And just having that energy makes things so much easier. Another huge positive is there isn't so much mental space, time, energy given over to the eating disorder and the negative emotions and thoughts and feelings that came with that. The negative thoughts about food and body image and things like that don't come up nearly as frequently, and that is another reason why I'm so glad that I have come as far as I have come on my recovery journey. I also have more free time because anorexia nervosa took up a lot of my time. In terms of dance, I think my eating disorder negatively impacted my training because I was under-energized. For me, I don't know if being a dancer was a major cause, at least initially, of my eating disorder, although I do think it probably did fuel my eating disorder once it got going. However, overall, I think dance was beneficial for me because it helped me with my recovery in two ways, which I'm going to talk about now. Firstly, dance helped me appreciate my body for what it could do rather than what it looked like. I was midway through my therapy when I joined a second dance school. I was still at my first dance school, but I wanted to do a ballet exam, which they didn't offer at my first dance school, so I joined another one as a second dance school. I went straight in to do intermediate ballet. Doing a ballet exam, especially intermediate ballet, was very different from what I was used to doing at my other dance school, and it was a struggle to start with, but as I improved in that class, I began to appreciate what my body could do that it couldn't do before. I had also been a bit nervous about starting because at this school for this class it was leotards and tights, but which wasn't something I'd had at my other dance school in the same way for a while. So I was a bit concerned about that going into my into the new dance school, but the teachers created a really healthy working environment and it was all about what I could do and not what I looked like. Also, this school did strength and conditioning classes, which introduced me to the idea of working out to support my dance training, which I think also helped my dance ability and my capabilities, which again boosted my confidence because I was able to recognise what my body could do and how much more important that was than what it looked like. The second way that dance helped in my recovery was that it was one of my motivations for getting better. I knew I wanted to be able to dance professionally, and I knew in order to do that I had to get healthy and fuel my body properly and recover. I actually had a mantra which was something along the lines of, I need to fuel my body properly in order to be able to dance, which helped me so much. Okay, I'm nearly finished, but I just wanted to wrap this video up with a few key takeaways. I'm not an eating disorder expert, I'm speaking from my point of view given my life experiences, but here are a few things that I want to tell you. Firstly, if you or someone you know are struggling, I would encourage you to seek help as soon as possible. Don't wait like I did. Secondly, I want everyone to know that eating disorders are mental illnesses which can have physical impacts, and they are not glamorous. Thirdly, although recovery can be challenging at times, I do think it is so worth it. Although, as I've said, I don't feel like I am fully recovered. From where I was to where I am now, the journey has so been worth it. So yeah, no matter the challenges, if you are in recovery, please keep pushing through. I truly think it will be worth it for you too. My camera just died, so I'm going to continue on my phone. I'm nearly done anyway, but my final point is just to emphasise that the discovery that I found, which is that what your body can do is so much more important than what it looks like. Okay, I'll leave a link in the description below to Beat, which is an eating disorder charity in the UK, and I'd recommend having a look at their resources if you would like to find out more about eating disorders, or if you're looking for how to get help, then I would definitely recommend checking them out. So yeah, I'll leave a link to their website in the description. Also, just a side note to say, if you know me personally in real life, and I still haven't told you about this, then I am really sorry that you're finding out this way, but please feel free to come and talk to me about it. I'm more than happy to answer questions and talk about it now. And also, if you know me in real life, but we're not that close and you still want to talk about it, then that's fine. I don't mind. Please feel free to come and ask me questions or talk to me about it, that's fine. If you don't know me personally and you found me online and you'd like to leave a comment, then please feel free, that's absolutely fine. But I will be reviewing all the comments in case there is something that I feel might be harmful to other people in any way. But you can also message me on my Instagram. I'm at @theperformingartsandme if you prefer to do that rather than leave a comment. You can also give this video a like if you found it helpful. I would also love for you to subscribe to this channel if you are interested in the performing arts, musical theatre or dance. However, please remember that that is the main topic on this channel, not eating disorders. So if you're not interested in musical theatre and dance and drama and things like that, then maybe don't subscribe, because this isn't a channel that's focused on eating disorders. But if you are a performing arts related fan, then please do subscribe, I'd really appreciate that. Okay, and that is everything for this video. I hope it's been helpful, and if you are struggling with an eating disorder, please reach out for help. Help is available. Thank you very much for watching. Bye!